Hi everybody and welcome to the very first Wild Chats edition of Girl Meets Wild. Currently I'm filming on a cozy Wednesday afternoon. I'm in my cozy clothes. I'm winding down from the week and that put me in the mood to discuss one of my absolute favorite topics of all time. If you were a weird animal kid like me and you waited all week long for that one show to come on, you know what I'm talking about, that one show, same time every week. Then keep watching because we're gonna be rating some of the very best nostalgic wildlife shows, and yours might be number one, or it might not make the list at all. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Sorry. Oh, coffee break. I am tired. It's late. It's late and I'm tired. So before we start rating our nostalgic wildlife shows, I first have to define what that is for the purposes of this video. People my age that were huge fans of Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, Discovery Kids. Yeah, I bet you thought I forgot about that one, didn't you? Anyway, so if these were your kind of channels growing up, you probably have a million ways to classify these kinds of shows. But today we're going to be sticking to 3 requirements. Host. Did the host of the show leave a lasting impression and become a household name? Or was it one of those people that kind of made you go, I know them from somewhere later on? Airtime. How long did the show run? Was it one of those little blips in your memory? Or did it dominate the same half-hour block for over a decade? Finally, vibes. How cozy was the show? How likely were you to let it play all day long while you were home sick from school and taking endless naps in piles of tissues? Okay, with our criteria set, let's get into it. Starting off strong, we've got the Jeff Corwin experience. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I never watched this show. I mean, not that it wasn't great, it just wasn't really my thing. I never really caught on to it the way that a lot of people did. Airing from 2001 to 2004, the official description of the show says this: a documentary series about the adventures of Jeff Corwin, who entertains and educates people on all types of wildlife around the world. So the cover of this show, the cheesy, smiling orangutan that's like in that old classic Animal Planet logo. You know, the one with the elephant and the globe where it's like dun 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 dun. Gives me such warm, fuzzy feelings. I actually had that version of the logo burned into my very first flat screen TV. It was like a 30-inch flat screen and I left it on 24/7. So when you turn the TV off or when you did change the channel on the rare occasion, you would still see that globe and the elephant there. Yeah, I didn't know that could happen, but it can. I don't know if it can happen on modern TVs, but it definitely happened back then. Without a doubt, Jeff was that dude. In fact, he's actually still out there making wildlife TV to this day, which is amazing. Give that man his flowers because he deserves it. As a host, Jeff was not particularly memorable. I mean, he was kind of laid back and relaxed and wasn't known for a super big personality or anything, but the fact that he's still going really gives him some extra points. Airtime was pretty typical for that time period. What did I say? Like 3 years, 3.5, 4 years. Could have gone longer, but that had nothing to do with Jeff. Things just sometimes don't work out like that. Vibe was solid, not overstimulating, not boring, but also entertaining enough so that every once in a while you'd roll over just to see what was going on. I'm giving this show a 7 out of 10. Next we got Meerkat Manor. The memories. Oh my gosh, I could give it a 10 out of 10 on that alone. Flower, Mitch, Rocket Dog, hello, are you kidding me? Now, even though we all know that Meerkat Manor walked so that baddies could run, the official description of this show says, Meerkat Manor is a popular British documentary series that follows the lives of a meerkat family, the Whiskers, in the Kalahari Desert, blending natural history with soap opera-like drama. That's definitely an understatement. That's for sure an understatement. The show aired in the US from 2005 to 2008. But I don't know, that just doesn't feel right to me. Like, I know it's right, but Meerkat Manor was one of those shows that I felt like lasted forever. It's because of reruns, I don't know, but it just seemed like it never ended. Kind of like River Monsters. River Monsters was on from the time I was born to, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy Wade was in my bathtub right now. Like, that man does not stop. He doesn't even count because I don't think that you can put him on the same level as anyone else. I digress. Anyway, so the original host of this show was a man called Bill Nighy, like Nighy. Why? Not to be confused with Bill Nye the Science Guy, not the same guy. Here in the US, we're more familiar with the Next Generation series, which is apparently hosted by someone named Stockard Channing. That's interesting because I never thought about her as being a real person that narrated. I always kind of saw her like David Attenborough. You know, David Attenborough is not a real person. David Attenborough is the voice of like the Sky. The Sky is played by David Attenborough. Unfortunately, neither Nye or Stockard's name made it really big here in the US, and I doubt many people know who they are, but they were good at what they did. Vibe is absolutely what's going best for this show. It was good enough and soothing enough that you didn't really mind when it was back to back to back to back to back to back blocks. Like when the entire channel guide was just like one show on and on and on and on and on until lunch, and then after lunch it was like more of the same show. I'm giving our girl Meerkat Manor a 6 out of 10. Next up we have, I don't know if you can hear that, Big Cat Diary. There is one scene from this show that's like burned in my mind forever. And if you are this girl, like if you're out there watching and you see this, I need to talk to you and I just need to like thank you. Because one time I was watching Big Cat Diary and I saw this woman, she was a biologist, and she was laying in the field conducting this survey for the show, and she had her newborn baby with her. Like she was breastfeeding in the field, staying overnight in the Serengeti with these animals, and I just thought at the time, like, that's the peak. That's it. That's the peak of womanhood. And if I can be that cool, I'll die happy. And honestly, I strive for that every day. Massive runtime for this BBC original. We're talking 1996, which is before I was born, way before I was born, okay? All the way up to 2008. Sorry, I think I said the Serengeti earlier. It was the Masai Mara, now that I'm double checking my facts. 3 more hosts that I'm willing to bet were incredible people that I don't even remember what they look like. I mean, they had really nice voices, if that counts. And I do remember that they weren't just voiceover hosts, they were actually presenting and in the field and doing things. They would kind of split up and do their own thing, record their own stuff, and then they would come back together and do a little bit of a field report. Vibe was boring. I'm sorry I said it. I know I said it. Okay, Vibe was boring. They were just probably not super fun at parties because they didn't put a lot of their own personalities into their work. It was strictly science, and I love science. I'm a science girly, okay? I love science, but sometimes you need a little bit of the science with a little bit of the pizzazz to really sell it, you know? All in all, runtime was amazing. Hosts were okay, and Vibe was lackluster. Because of all this, I'm giving Big Cat Diary a 3 out of 10. Finally, it's the one we've all been waiting for. The piece de resistance. This one right here, hands down, the OG Sick Day show. As soon as you hear that intro come on, you know you are tricking your mom. We got Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. It never occurred to me that this show was actually sponsored by the insurance company Mutual of Omaha. I really thought it was a wild coincidence. But anyway, it definitely is sponsored by the insurance company, and they have been backing this show for as long as I can remember, and even before I can remember. Runtime is insane. 1963 to 1988. Yeah, you heard that right. And a modern rendition of the show still airs today, making it one of the longest running wildlife shows in existence, second only to something called Kentucky A-Field, something like that. This show has had a few hosts over the years, famously starting with zoologist Marlin Perkins, whom you'll remember fondly from reruns, like I do. Currently, it's being hosted by the amazing bear biologist with super cool, awesome hair, Ray Wynn Grant. Call me up, Ray. Call me Ray Wynn Grant and make me your stunt double, and I'll jump whatever I have to jump. This show has always had hosts that find a way into your heart. I remember seeing Marlin and later his co-host Jim Fowler as kind of like this grandfather figure. You could always count on being there at 9 a.m. sharp, rain or shine. This is part of the reason why I chose 8 a.m. Saturday mornings for my show, because it brings back good memories and, you know, it makes me feel like I'm kind of making them proud. Vibe was like unmatched. I will admit it could be a little bit boring at times, but if you were like me and you soaked in every single animal fact that you could get, and you really liked people doing amazing things like catching birds by the talon and taking samples, putting on trackers, I mean, I could let this show run all day long. Okay. I think it's obvious that this show has surpassed all expectations and is our 10 out of 10 nostalgic wildlife show. Now, I wouldn't be me if I didn't get a shout out, of course, to my favorite person of all time, Steve Irwin, and The Crocodile Hunter and The Croc Hunter Diaries and everything that came before and after, even back when it was just tapes in his dad's reptile park. I didn't put Steve in this list on purpose because I really feel like he's on a different level. It's people making memories for the good of the world and creating generations of people like me and people like you who are going to continue the work. And Steve, he's on his own platform. So, all right. All right, that's it for this episode of Girl Meets Wild, Wild Chats. Make sure you're tuning in this upcoming week for our very next wildlife adventure. Look at the way these things were designed to move.